Hey everybody, Larry Lawton here. I got a great video for you today. It's kind of a video that's been meant to be for a few days because of the Gabbie Petito incident, the disappearance, the homicide. And we're going to get into a whole bunch of stuff on this case that I think people are jumping to conclusions. But I'm going to go over the timeline of the case. I'm going to go and use some defenses, or not only just defenses, you know, why I don't believe people should be jumping to conclusions as quick as they are. We're going to get into that. Please check us out on member programs and check us out on the book. You're going to hear some great stuff in the book. Now, let's get right into the Gabbie Petito case. I'm going to go over the timeline a little bit, and then I'm going to go into the case itself. If you don't know the case, if you've not been watching the news, you're probably under a rock somewhere. Gabbie Petito and this kid named Brian Laundrie were engaged. They're a young couple in their young 20s. And they were actually engaged in July of 2020, but their marriage was postponed. The wedding was postponed because of COVID. So they decided to take a 4-month trip to national parks around the United States. Then they purchased their van. The van that's well known now. It's a Ford Transit, 2012 Ford Transit van. They purchased that in December of 2020 in preparation. They called it the Garden on Wheels. And they converted that Garden on Wheels into like a little camping place where they can cook and probably bed and stuff like that. Now you gotta remember, these two people are living in a van pretty much. I mean, this is gonna test any relationship, number one. Well, on August 12th, they have an altercation in Moab. M-O-A-B, Moab City, Utah. The cops come into this. People witness them fighting. The cops come. After the cops come, they find out the girl, Gabbie Petito, was the one assaulting the guy. So it's this kid named Brian Laundrie. So everybody's thinking, oh, he just murdered her, did this. I mean, please stop jumping to conclusions, because I'm going to go into that in a minute. And on this case, so Gabbie is the one who was the aggressor. This kid had scratch marks on his face and his arms. So he was the one. He didn't want to press charges. Nobody really wanted to press charges on this whole case. And I want you to remember that name, Moab, M-O-A-B, Moab City, Utah, because it's going to come back in a little later. And there's something here we don't know, but we're going to find out. Now, obviously, we don't know what happened. Right now, she was found dead in Wyoming. Don't know the details. They're doing autopsies and stuff like that. He has disappeared. Now, we're going to get into the disappearance in a minute, because everyone say, oh, he disappeared. This guy's guilty. He should have said something. No. First of all, no matter what, don't say anything to the police. I'm telling you. People say, oh, if you're innocent, say anything you want. No. No attorney will ever tell you to do that. Because first of all, the cops are just looking to make a case. You know, you'd want to believe the cops are out for the truth, just like you want to believe the prosecutors are out for the truth. Sadly, they're out for convictions. Sadly, they're out for making cases. If they have themselves honed in on you, you know, I don't have to tell you guys how many times cops have fabricated evidence and prosecutors did stuff and held evidence back, did stuff that they known, didn't disclose stuff. I mean, the case files are rampant and full of cases of abuse of people who were convicted wrongly. So every attorney in the world, any defense attorney in the world will tell you, don't say a word to the police. Here's my card, let me talk to the police. And that's it. I mean, and you go through that attorney, number one. But anyway, so this girl comes up missing. So they had an altercation. We're going to get into that here in a minute. Then August 25th was Petito's last. This is Gabbie Petito's last known where they were. And they were in Grand Teton, Wyoming, and heading towards Yellowstone National Park is where they were going. Now, obviously, it's normal for people when they're doing trips like this to go off the grid. And what I mean by off the grid is you might go into parks that have no cell service. You might be away for 2 or 3 days and nobody can get hold of you. And that's normal in this kind of stuff. There's no Wi-Fi connections in these places. But this girl always came back and posted on Instagram and FaceTimed, made phone calls. This is what got the family concerned. The last communications with the girl was August 30th. Now, this is where supposedly she gives a text to the parents. They said, received an odd text from Gabbie's, what the parents said. The text message read, "Can you help Stan? I just keep getting his voicemails and missed calls." Now, Stan is her grandfather. I don't know too many people who call their grandparents Stan or their first name. Like my grandmother was Germaine. Of course, it's grandma or grandpa or whatever. Now, I don't know the dynamics of the family, and it doesn't mean it, but it is an odd communication, and it was a text message, and that's it. On September 1st is when he comes home with the van without her. Doesn't say anything. It's kind of weird this way because all it says is Laundrie allegedly returned to Northport and shared with his parents on September 1. Police said he had driven the van there and Petito was not with him. That's it. Nothing. I mean, now there's no suspicions yet. Things happen. I'm going to go into that in a minute. On September 11th, which we know is 9/11, September 11th, the family reports Petito missing. And obviously when police knocked on the door of the Landry home, the parents handed them a lawyer's phone number. I mean, think of this. So something isn't right, but again, we're going to figure this out. And we don't know what Brian knows, what the bottom line, Taylor said. We're hopeful to talk to him. He needs to talk to us, meaning the police. We need to know exactly where he was, where she was, their last location, and the fact that he's back there here for 10 days. Again, the family reported her missing 10 days later. Remember, 10 days later. The van was processed for evidence, and Taylor said there were some materials that were investigated further. I don't buy it. That's bullshit in my mind. I don't think that's total bullshit. If there was something that was really dead incriminating or something, that would be out there already. You can believe that. September 15th, Landry was named the person of interest. Big deal. Means nothing. It just means absolutely nothing. And in fact, everybody around the close circle of friends will be a person of interest. So, I mean, they could say what they want. Yes, they want to talk to him. Yeah, but they don't have anything on him. They can't arrest this guy for anything unless they have something that we don't know yet. And again, I don't know. We're going to, obviously things are coming out in a rapid pace. So if we miss something here and it's out, my apologies on that. They said he's hindering an investigation. I mean, obviously, she's been murdered and found murdered, obviously. So, is it true that he's hindering an investigation? Again, you can't incriminate yourself. That's, you know, this is the Constitution, and I always talk about it. On September 16th, Northport press conference with Father Petito family letter. The family put out a letter, the whole works. On September 16th, Landry's sister speaks to Good Morning America. I can guarantee the lawyers went ballistic on this because nobody should be doing that. Nobody should be doing that. But the lawyers themselves, obviously. Obviously, me and my family want Gabbie to be found safe, she said. She's like a sister, and my children love her, and I will want her to come home safe and found. Now, she's not found yet, obviously. I'm just giving you the timelines. No connection to the double homicide case. That's what they're saying. Now, the speculation was in Moab, and I told you, remember the name, Moab, Utah. Two girls, 38 years old and 24 years old, Kylan Shutley and Crystal Turner, were found shot to death on August 18th, right around the time they were there, too. So, I mean, you know, they said there's nothing, there's no connection, but I don't know how they know that. On September 17th, Landry's family reports Brian missing. Now, the family knows something, but the kid comes up missing. They claim they had not seen Brian since Tuesday. Now, so they have two searches going on. One in Wyoming and one in Northport, Florida in a 25,000-acre wetland park. Police searched vast Florida Wildlife Reserve on Saturday for 23-year-old Brian Landry. This is the September 18th, which is only a few days ago. A person of interest in the disappearance of the girlfriend Gabbie Petito, while across the country, the FBI missing in the mountains national park in Wyoming. What's really kind of odd off the bat, why is the FBI so into this case? I mean, murders, disappearances happening every day in the country. Is it just because they're a pretty couple? She's an Instagram person. You know, she was an Instagram influencer, I gather. I don't know. It's kind of weird. The search was called off Saturday night by Northport police due to darkness. They say nothing was found. Meanwhile, on September 19th, the body was found in Wyoming, believed to be Gabbie Petito. It was identified as Gabbie Petito. Now, Landry's family home searched. They got a warrant to search the home. Obviously, he's a person of interest in a homicide, but I'm going to go into homicide in a minute. They escorted Lawrence parents out of their home into a waiting van in their driveway at 10 in the morning. They were in the car about 10 minutes before going back inside. I don't like that. I don't like when they search something without maybe somebody being there, especially somebody's home. You know, why? I mean, that's a little bit of, why don't you show me what you're looking for? I mean, why don't you let me look? I mean, I don't know, or watch. I mean, what's the problem with that? I don't like that there's that secrecy in somebody else's home. Because, again, I've seen too much shit happen. Investigators were inside the home with the family all day around 2:30 in the afternoon. They towed Landry's silver Mustang from the driveway. They also removed evidence boxes. The search warrant indicates they were looking for Landry's computer, I'm sure. Now, Landry is nowhere to be found. Let me explain why everybody's jumping to conclusions and I don't like. At this point right now, I don't see anything in this case. Now, is it weird? Is something happened? Let me give you a few scenarios. First of all, when the media comes out and said it was a homicide. Yeah, it was a homicide. Absolutely, it was a homicide. A homicide means just a death by another. They don't know what. It could be justifiable homicide. A lot of different ways a homicide could be without it being such a big crime. It doesn't have to be a murder. Murder and a homicide are two different things. They claim it's a homicide. I don't know why. Do they have marks on the body? Do they know what's really going on? Did they find evidence that we know about? Was there a note on the computer? Did he look for stuff, how to kill somebody? Again, all of that's going to be circumstantial evidence. At this point, this girl was found dead in Wyoming, and at the bottom of a ravine or something of that nature. We don't know the exact cause of death yet because it's not public. What makes everybody think he did it? Because he's just being quiet? Stop being people who are just told what's right. I was the expert on the Casey Anthony case in Florida. That was the little girl. Casey Anthony, about her little daughter, got found dead eventually, but it was missing for a while. And they put this girl up on murder. And she won the case because it's very hard to prove a murder when you don't have a weapon or a something that they said that did it. Now, Casey Anthony was smart. She didn't say anything. Her attorney took it from there. Obviously, there's a number of ways this kid could explain this death if it's just what it is. Hey, we had a fight. Look, this girl attacked me. I didn't want to press charges. She was a psycho in this van. We were in this van for 2 months, and July, August, September, and she's going nuts. She's fucking cursing me out, and she attacked me at night. I said, get the fuck out of here. I'm taking the van. You leave. Or she says, fuck it. I don't want you anymore. I'm leaving. Take the van. Go fuck yourself. I don't care. I'll get home. I'm resourceful. Fuck you. Have it and go home. He does that. I mean, would you? Maybe not. Would I? No. But he does that. Now somebody meets her, kills her, throws her off a cliff, does something. He doesn't know what's going on. He comes home. He hasn't heard from the girl in a long time, and he's distraught. And now he don't know what to do. And he goes on a trek into the woods. Maybe he dies himself in the woods. Nobody will know. There's so many scenarios right now but everybody's already making this kid the biggest evil man in the world, and he did it. I always try to tell people, slow down. Slow down. You don't need to be doing that, because all that's doing right there is giving more conjuncture of some sort that nobody knows. Now, they're going to find out as much as they can, period. And it might be a circumstantial case, period. And I don't like circumstantial cases. And people are going to say, oh, wow, you just want someone to get away with murder? Absolutely not. I don't know what happened. But don't vilify the guy or the girl. I mean, listen, she's passed away. She's dead. Have respect for that. Obviously, nobody deserves to go on a trip and die. And I don't care if she's great looking or a nice couple or this bullshit. I don't care. I don't care who you are. Nobody deserves to go on a trip and come back or not come back. Obviously, young people don't belong perishing like this. But it happens more often than you think. And it's kind of shocking how the publicity has made this case so big. That's what it is. The publicity has made this case big. And I don't know about that. I'm sitting here saying, wait the fuck a minute, everybody. Let's find out what happened. Everybody's jumping to conclusions. I heard a lawyer on TV the other day talking about, yes, everybody just wants the truth. Well, that might be true in the perfect world. But there are people out there that just want to see this guy convicted for his killing and make this wrap this case up in a bow, give it to a prosecutor and say, hey, listen, here it is. Why do you think cops get false confessions out of people? They're professional fucking manipulators. That's really what a cop is a professional manipulator. Detectives know just about enough what to say, how to say it, and to make you believe they have enough, and then all of a sudden the person is saying, well, I didn't do it, Johnny did it, or whatever, and it's all bullshit. They're just trying to get you to either confess to something or, if you just tell us this, we're going to let you go. There's so many cases. I've dealt with cases like that. Now, and that doesn't mean that he didn't do it, and it doesn't mean he did do it. I am in the camp of he's innocent. Right now, that man, Brian Landry, is innocent until proven guilty. Please, everybody. We all tout this great criminal justice system. I don't. I know all the flaws in it. But the basis of our criminal justice system is good. It's just got flawed along the way. If we believe in that system, and if you believe in that system, you'll believe in the Constitution, and you'll believe in you are innocent until proven guilty. Now, people are going to say, oh, that's not right. You're right. It might be not morally right to leave a person there. We don't know the whole circumstances. And people are going to say, well, he should say. No, he shouldn't say. First of all, you or I don't have a fucking right to know. We are nobodies. Now, the parents might, the loved ones might, the authorities definitely want to know. But let them do their investigation and find out what they find. Don't jump to the media and, media's got me off. Listen, I've gotten so sick and tired of the media. I really have. I do a lot of research on cases. I do a lot of research on everything I do. And the conflicting reports are just all over the place. I mean, it's very rare you'll get this news station and this news station to totally agree on something. I mean, they have their both spins on it. One guy's a liberal news case, so they want that, everybody to be innocent. The other one's a conservative, everybody's guilty, and God has to handle them, give them the heavy hand of God. So that's all bullshit. Let's let the system play out the way it's supposed to be played out. And the cops got to be checked in the whole way. FBI, cops, for all we know, he's going to be found dead. And then who did it? Did he leave a note? Did someone write a note? How about a scenario? How about they went out there and they met a friend of theirs that they were swingers with or some shit, nobody knows. Or they were into something there, and all of a sudden something went out of whack. And he fucking killed the girl and said to Brian, I'm gonna kill your whole family if you fucking say anything. I mean, I'm just giving you a scenario, obviously. I don't know what happened. Nobody knows what happened. Nobody knows what happened right now. Maybe even Brian doesn't know. Maybe even Brian doesn't know. I don't know. And you don't know. And everybody here doesn't know. So why are we all jumping to conclusions? We look at this like it's something that people want to just fucking watch a train wreck. It's what it is. For whatever reason, this good-looking couple and the murder takes our attention like, I mean, come on, aren't there better things? You see so many people dying every day in the streets of Chicago or Detroit, or I don't care if you see famine in South Africa or whatever, Central Africa, wherever you're at, in Haiti, and you see famine, you see stuff that's so sad. And what do? We change the channel. Next. But then you fucking see one case that's the big talk of the town, and everybody's talking. That's why I had to do this video. I don't know what to think yet. I mean, I did so much research on this, and it's biased in its own ways. Timelines aren't biased. I mean, that's just facts, what happened. The conclusions are, oh, he did it. You'll hear the comments and read the comments. Oh, he's a murderer. They should find him. Once they find him, oh, he killed himself because we know he killed her. We don't know that. And it might be true, and you might be right, but we don't know that. And I don't want you to be the one that's going to be saying, I was wrong on that. If you can learn anything from any of these cases, it's first, Take your time. Watch what's going on. See what comes out as evidence. I did that with the Derek Chauvin case. I watched the George Floyd incident, and it was the sad thing. And I watched it, and everybody was trying to vilify everybody until the trial. I watched the trial. And once I saw the trial and I saw the way things went, I found him guilty as well. Obviously, the tape was there and everything was there. I want you to sit back, don't judge so quickly, and get into the facts a little bit more. We all have opinions, I get it. You know what the old saying, everybody has opinions like everybody else has assholes. Everybody has an asshole, everybody else has an opinion. And that's okay, if that's what makes your day, but just think about it from the other point of view always. Whenever I take a conversation with somebody, I always look at the other point of view. Obviously, I want to believe my point of view, debate it, but some people change my minds. And I want you to think like that too. So, on the Gabbie Petito and Brian Landry case, please stay tuned. Let's find out what happens. Have a great day, everybody. Stay safe. Please make good choices. Think who you're with, because nobody wants to see this happen to anybody. We all know that. Live your life. Have fun. Stay safe. Thanks for being a subscriber if you are. If you're not, I hope you do. Take care, everybody. Stay strong.